Welcome to my garage. Today we're looking at this 2013 Ducati 848 Streetfighter. We're having some typical fueling issues that have been mentioned online. Basically below 5,000, 6,000 RPM it kind of surges a little, kind of sputters as you're holding a constant throttle. So one of the things they're talking about is a closed loop fueling system below 6,000 RPM or 5,000 RPM. So what we're going to do today is I decided we're going to give this a try. It's the Rapid Bike Easy, a simple module that plugs in, and basically it tricks your fuel injection into thinking that you're running leaner than you are, and will fatten up the stoichiometric fuel to air ratio. And so we're going to give that a try. Yesterday I installed some pipe wrapping to mitigate some of the heat that these things generate. Basically in this area here it's a little hot on the legs, and not to mention your battery sits here, your fuel injection controller sits in there, and you're basically sitting on a ton of heat. So I figured we'll just try and mitigate some of that, and we'll get this Rapid Bike Easy installed, and we'll see how that goes. So what you get in the kit, you have your controller, you have some documentation, and underneath there's a wiring harness which we'll pull out. The controller, has two dials. One is a setting dial and one is a fuel ratio dial. They recommend that you, for the 848 Streetfighter, they're all basically trimmer 1 setting, that's your settings, be on number 6, and your trimmer 2 being on a number 2, a +2. So I guess that's your fuel ratio. You're going to be adding 2. I don't know if that's percent or I'm not sure. Anyway, however they do it, this is the setting, and it's also good for Moto Guzzis and the Streetfighter and the Evo. So basically over about 900 to 1200 cc, and they're basically V-twins. So I guess that's how they're trying to figure this out. What else you get in the box? Sticker. Gotta love the stickers. Some double-sided Velcro tape and a cover. I plan to put it in the tail area right about there above the battery, and we'll just Velcro that down. And this is the cable that they supply. This part goes into the controller harness, and it comes up, and then there's a red set, and then just a standard set. The red tape they indicate goes on the front cylinder, and then the back ones go on the back, and it's basically plug and play. One side goes into the connector of the O2 sensor, and the other side goes into the control module harness. So it's straight plug and play. The two oxygen sensors, you got to take the cover off, the side panels off of this, and if you got a Evo, it's you got to take the whole a lot more panels off. But if you want to go this far, there's the oxygen sensor here on the front pipe, and it carries on up here, and the harness will work its way. You got to follow that a little more closely anyway. It goes up there, and then the second oxygen sensor
is tucked way down there on the back pipe, almost where the where the pipe meets up. It's hard to see. Anyway, you know where it is.
And we'll basically was gonna fish the lines up the original locations and basically split it off there for one going that way and then the other one following down here, and reuse or use some new fresh zip ties. I'm gonna run it up this side. There's a spot down here that you can fish them through and then get them down that way. I was thinking about going down this way. I may do that yet. I'll find out where the wiring goes. So, where's that connector, you say? It's on the left-hand side. And if you look inside here, and go inside, there it is. Right there. And there's a small clip that you can take off with a needle nose pliers. Oh, this is really hard to see. So anyway, there it is. You can see it from the right hand side, but it's just easier to get to it from the left hand side. So basically ran the wires down through here, came up under here, tucked it in, and we're now down in the section here. So there's the one piece there and the other piece there. I believe this goes to the oxygen sensor and this goes to the power control module. And here are the two wires from the new unit. So we'll just plug these in, clip it back in place. Basically gonna redo these zip ties and include this here and here where there's two zip tie holding areas, and just keep it all tidy and in one spot. So I got the wiring done on this side. Looks pretty good. Just ran it down there. A couple zip ties here and there. There's the connector right there for the one that I put up, and then the other one's in there, and it's reattached to that little bar. So it is done. The front one is done, and we'll focus on the back. Okay, we're gonna get that rear oxygen sensor. It comes up here, and you follow it. Comes up here. There's a bunch of these zip ties and rubber keepers that hold these little bundles of wire together, and then you make your way up, and it's actually underneath the seat, underneath right here. Let's see if I can get in there, and that's it there. So we'll be working our way into there and get this one hooked up. To make life easier, I took the side panel off. It's basically these 5 little screws, no big deal. I'm fishing cable underneath this way, and I'm going to double back. There's the one half of the connector there, and then there is actually a, if you look right there, it's kind of hard to see. My apologies. Where are we here? Yeah, there we go. There's actually a tab right there that this piece slides into. So once you connect this piece, you slide it back in, lock it in place with that little tab, and then the other piece will hook up to this piece, which actually goes all the way down to the oxygen sensor. And then it's just time to zip tie everything back together, and we should be done. So we got it all sorted out. Reattach the straps and everything we needed. I ended up putting the second clip right here. Managed to get the can you see that? You can't really see that. Anyway, the other clip is already strapped in there, further in the back anyway. It's all the way it should be, and now I'm just going to have to clean up this wiring here and install my battery, and then mount that with the Velcro. And lastly, I have to feed this tiny little ground wire back up, and so it attaches to the negative of the battery. And I'll show you what that's like in a second. So we've run the cable nice and tight, used some zip ties where needed. Actually, this little ground wire, it really bothers me how small it is. I wish they'd used a thicker gauge, but it drives the ground for the microcontroller. Yeah, we'll just have to keep an eye on it, make sure it doesn't fail at any point. So everything's set up. What I'm basically going to do is I'm going to mount this in here, and I'm going to put the cap on it and run a zip tie across it, and that should secure it, as opposed to using the Velcro. I might put a piece of Velcro on it just to keep it from jumping around, but yeah. And there's the final install. Put 4 screws in, zip tied it. It's nice and stable. It's not moving around too much. So yeah, I think that's pretty good. We'll button her up, drop her down, fire it up, see how it goes. So, trying to get this piece back on. It holds the battery in place. These bolts on this side, when I try and close it, just line it up there. The bolts actually come down and hit on the module, so I'm going to have to cut the zip tie, slide it over, and I might reroute the charging port as well. Anyway, just so you know that when you put these on, make sure you center it so that it can get by these 2 bolts. It'll fit in between the two, or in between the 2 sides, but just so you know, that's an issue. Well, it fired up faster, and I think it's more positive. It doesn't yeah, I just have to take it for a spin and have a see at how it performs. All right, took it for a spin. Not bad. It solved a lot of the problems this had. Number one, it started a lot easier. It just took about 3 or 4 cranks and it was fired right up. Which before it would take 6 or 7, and it would kind of lumber away. So the startup was better. The warm-up was nice. I found that it wasn't as erratic. It was smoother while it was warming up, and it was much better in that phase. So I'm impressed with that. Once we got going, She pulled fine. She pulled fast. She was really no complaints. It seemed to be much better in the 4,000, 5,000 RPM range. It just seemed to want to sit and lumber along quite well. Hitting the throttle, she pulled hard. I don't really see that much of a difference in acceleration. I'd have to maybe put it on a dyno to find something like that. Seat of the pants, I didn't really think it was that much different. And yeah, I think the bike ran cooler too. It just seemed to take that little bit extra time to get up to temperature, and then even then it didn't seem to run as hot. Now that could be the header wrap I put on. I think the header wrap probably mitigated a lot of that heat. I know that the underseat heat was a lot better than I was used to, so it was worthwhile there. Yeah, so all in all, it solved a lot of my issues, and for $300 it was definitely worth it. I'd buy it again. And one other note, deceleration, it still pops on deceleration unless you fully close the throttle. That's probably because I got the Akrapovics on there. The catalytics are gone on it because they were in the original mufflers. So running these, the cats are gone, so you're going to hear a bit of that unburnt fuel popping away. Usually the cats catch those, but I don't have a problem with it. And yeah, so 300 Canadian, definitely made it a better machine. I'm pretty happy with it, and I'm looking forward to many more miles. All right, have a great day.